Okay, World Cruisers, we're coming to you this Tuesday, July 30th from Warnemunde, Germany and Rostock, Germany. We are at the port of Warnemunde and we're going to get on a bus and go to the old city of Rostock. And what do you know, we ran into my brother again. What a coincidence. So they're going to go with us on this tour today. And we're headed outside the port. Now, the funny thing about Warnemunde, not the funny thing, the interesting thing is that this area was part of Eastern Germany after World War II, so it was under control of the Soviets. And our tour guide was raised under the communist system and said he would not prefer to go back. So that's interesting. Anyway, so we're headed outside of the port over to our bus, and we see these big sand sculptures. They must have a contest or something. There were several of them. This one is Neptune, and I'm not sure what they used to make that sand stick together, but it's quite elaborate sand sculptures. So we hopped on the tour bus to go to the old town of Rostock, which is about a half an hour inland from the port of Warnemunde. And the first place we ended up was the St. Peter's Church, which is interesting because when Martin Luther was active in Germany, these folks in this area followed him and left the Catholic Church, became Lutherans. This church was very heavily damaged during World War II. As it turns out, there was a Hinkle aircraft factory here. Now notice the right side of the church is missing. The left side has the roof going over the left part. The right side got bombed out. And the whole church was heavily damaged, had to be rebuilt after World War II. But notice, for comparison purposes, how simple it is inside compared to the ornate Catholic churches that we've been in. So the Lutherans were much more focused on the Savior and less focused on ornaments and relics and stuff. So I just thought that was an interesting comparison. They did, however, have beautiful stained glass. So anyway, our next stop was going to downtown Rostock, where we found a nice place to get some hot dogs, and I see this stuff called Mizzo Mix or Mezzo Mix I wanted to try, but I really couldn't tell it from Coke. They both tasted the same to me. So, and this old bell tower in town we thought was old, but actually it was built in the 90s, so not that old. But this is the pedestrian street there in Rostock, and you're going to take a very brisk walk with me down the main street, which is pedestrian friendly. There's no traffic, no car traffic on it. And it was on this street further down where we found a place to have lunch. But they have McDonald's here, they have Subway, and it was quite a nice place to go for a walk. Nothing spectacular, but at least you could see what the town looks like. It's recovered quite nicely after World War II. As I mentioned, it was heavily bombed because there was a Hinkle aircraft factory here. And so, I don't know, it was significantly damaged. So now we're back in Warnemunde. We've got the bus back and we're taking a walk in the harbor area of Warnemunde. And there's a nice jetty out there. I'm headed out towards the beach. This is the Baltic Sea that you're seeing here. And every year they have a festival next month where all these old sailing ships come in here. And they have a party for a week or so with all these old ships. So some of them have started to arrive already. So we're going to go out and check out the beach and then go out to the lighthouse area out on the jetty and look back at the town. So walking out, there's all these ships moored along the side that are actually selling fish sandwiches. I guess they go out and catch the fish and come back in and moor and then sell the sandwiches, all different kinds of fish sandwiches. seemed to be very popular. There was a lot of people in line at them. This one's Guido's fish sandwiches. Anyway, we got out to the beach, and there's a lot of ferries going in and out of here that go to Sweden and other places, Denmark and Norway, I imagine. Maybe some up to Latvia, where we're going tomorrow. Anyway, so it's the Baltic Sea. There were a lot of people out at the beach. It was a very pleasant day, probably high 70s, low 80s maybe. And really a perfect day for the beach. The water is not that cold, as I mentioned the other day when we went to the confluence of the Baltic and the North Sea. I thought it was actually water I could get into. Anyway, nice beach. Now you're looking straight north. If you could see, it would be the bottom tip of Sweden out in front of you, but it's probably a little bit too far away to see. And a view back towards the beach and Warnemunde, looking back that way. And this is the channel that Serenade of the Seas came in and out of. So, and what town on the Baltic Sea would be complete without a lighthouse? So, following that lady up front, there's a Santa Monica bistro. Thought that was interesting. Here's the lighthouse with the sun in the back. So you can climb up in that lighthouse and I guess get a good panoramic picture up there, but we didn't go. Anyway, that's pretty much our day. It was a beautiful walk and nice beach. Rostock was interesting, and now you're going to get a picture of sunset at 10 o'clock at night. It stays light. This is a view from our balcony. And stay tuned for Riga, Latvia. We have one sea day, and then we'll be in Riga, Latvia. So stay tuned for some video of our adventures in Riga.